War, a force that has shaped empires, broken kings, and rewritten history. The rise and fall of dynasties, the ambitions of conquerors, the clash of civilizations, all dictated by the art of battle. But what if I told you, the greatest victories are not won on bloodstained battlefields, but in the mind? That war is not just about swords and spears, but about strategy, deception, and control. Over 2,500 years ago, in the midst of an era of endless war in ancient China, one man saw beyond the chaos. He was not a conqueror. He was not a tyrant. He was a thinker, a philosopher, a man whose wisdom would echo across time, shaping generals, presidents, CEOs, and even world-class athletes. He was Sun Tzu, and his masterpiece, The Art of War. Sun Tzu was no ordinary strategist. He did not believe in reckless battle, nor in brute strength alone. He understood something far more powerful. The mind is the ultimate weapon. To him, war was not just a clash of armies, it was a game of deception, manipulation, and control. It was about understanding your enemy before a single arrow was fired. Imagine a chess master predicting every move before the game has even begun. That was Sun Tzu. And what he wrote would not just define military strategy, it would transcend it. Today, his teachings are followed not only by generals but by business tycoons, politicians, coaches, and even world-class athletes. Why? Because the art of war is not just about war, it is about winning. Winning in battle, winning in business, winning in life. And today we're going to break down the key lessons from this ancient masterpiece. Principles so powerful that they are still being used to dominate battlefields, boardrooms, and competitions around the world. Sun Tzu believed that the greatest victories are won before the battle even begins. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. It's about control. It's about calculation. It's about understanding the game better than anyone else. Whether it's a soldier on the battlefield, a CEO negotiating a billion-dollar deal, or an athlete in the fight of their life, those who understand the art of war know that true power lies not in the battle, but in the strategy. So, are you ready to unlock the secrets of the most powerful strategy book in history? Stay with us as we break down Sun Tzu's most brilliant and dangerous ideas and how you can use them in your own battles, whatever they may be. Welcome to the art of war. Know yourself, know your enemy. Sun Tzu famously wrote, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." But what does that really mean? Is it just about war? About armies clashing and swords meeting steel? No, it's about power, control, the ability to dictate the battlefield before the battle even begins. It's not just about brute strength, it's about intelligence. Because the strongest fighter isn't the one who throws the hardest punch, it's the one who sees the punch coming before it's even thrown. The art of preparation. Before a single soldier steps onto the battlefield, the war has already been decided. Before a first piece moves on the chessboard, the game has already been won. Why? Because the greatest warriors, the most successful leaders, and the deadliest tacticians all understand one truth. The real battle is fought before the first blow is struck. Know yourself. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, what fuels you, what holds you back? A general who overestimates his army walks into an ambush. A leader who underestimates himself never leads at all. Know your enemy. What are their patterns, their fears, their weaknesses disguised as strengths? A great strategist doesn't fight the enemy head-on. He exploits their blind spots, their missteps, their predictable habits. Control the game before it begins. The smartest warrior doesn't fight every battle. He picks his battles. He waits for the perfect moment. He shapes the battlefield to his advantage. He makes his enemy fight on his terms. The power of perception, seeing beyond surface. A champion poker player doesn't win because of the cards in his hand. He wins because he knows the man sitting across from him. He sees his nervous tics, his breathing, the flicker of doubt in his eyes. And at that moment, he's already won. The business battlefield, he wins because he has already studied his opponent. He knows what the other side fears. He knows where they'll bend, and he uses that knowledge to make them think they're winning, right before he takes everything. A fighter doesn't win in the ring. He wins before the fight starts, when he studies his opponent's movements, his strengths, his weaknesses. He wins when he sees the hesitation in his opponent's punches. When he knows that, in the final round, the exhaustion will creep in, and that's when he'll strike. Conclusion: the mind is the ultimate weapon. The rules of battle don't just apply to war. They apply to life, to business, to sports, to relationships, to any place where competition exists. The strongest person in the room isn't always the one with the loudest voice. The richest person isn't always the one with the best ideas. The best fighter isn't always the one with the hardest punch. The winner is the one who knows. And when you know yourself, and you know your enemy, you never have to fear the outcome of any battle. Subscribe for more legendary wisdom. Comment below. What's the greatest battle you've ever fought? And how did you win? Sun Tzu teaches that the best way to win is to make your enemy think they're winning. Because in war, in business, and in life, perception is reality. If your enemy believes they're in control, they will lower their guard. If they think you are weak, they will attack recklessly. If they think they are winning, they won't see the trap you've set. That is the art of deception. The illusion of power. Appear weak when you are strong. A wolf in sheep's clothing is the deadliest predator. A seasoned warrior feigns exhaustion, waiting for his enemy to strike first. A company leaks false vulnerabilities, luring competitors into a trap. The moment they underestimate you, you have already won. Appear strong when you are weak. A small army marches with twice the banners to seem larger. A startup exaggerates its resources to scare off competitors. A poker player bets aggressively on a weak hand, forcing the opponent to fold. Fear is a weapon, and when wielded correctly, it can turn the tide before the first blow is struck. Confuse, mislead, distract. Deception is not just lying, it is control. Control of the battlefield, control of the mind, control of what your enemy sees, hears, and believes. Deception is an art form. The most powerful generals, CEOs, and athletes don't just react to their opponents, they shape their perception of reality itself. Imagine playing chess, but your opponent has no idea what your next move is. That is the true power of deception. The greatest victory is the one they never saw. Sun Tzu didn't just teach war, he taught domination. When you control what your enemy sees, when you control what they believe, when you control what they think will happen next, you control the outcome before the battle even begins. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy, without fighting. What if I told you that the greatest warriors never fight at all? What if the most legendary victories in history were won before the first arrow was fired? Sun Tzu understood something that few ever grasp. A war avoided is a war won. Why fight a battle when you can win without shedding a drop of blood? Why clash swords when you can bend the will of your enemy without a single blow? The art of winning before the fight. True greatness is not about fighting every battle. It's about knowing which battles should never be fought. The best generals never need to draw their swords. A true commander doesn't just think about how to win battles. He thinks about how to make battles unnecessary. He uses fear. He uses psychology. He uses diplomacy. Why waste men and resources when a war can be won before it even begins? The best negotiators win before the argument even starts. A skilled diplomat doesn't enter a negotiation to debate. They already know what the other side wants. They already know the weak spots, the pressure points, the leverage. They've already won before the first word is spoken. The best business leaders make their competitors irrelevant. The greatest companies don't fight to be better than their rivals. They make their rivals obsolete. They innovate. They shift the market. They change the game entirely. The invisible battle controlling the game without playing it. Sun Tzu believed that the most dangerous battles are the ones you never have to fight. A war that never begins is a war that is already won. A great leader makes his enemies choose to surrender. A great strategist wins before his opponent even knows the game has started. History's greatest victories were won without fighting. For example, the Mongols surrounding a city. Instead of attacking, they starved the defenders out. The gates open, no blood is shed, but the war is over. Or the Cuban Missile Crisis, a world on the brink of nuclear war. But one side blinks first, because the real battle was fought in the mind, not on the battlefield. Psychology is more powerful than brute force. The strongest army is the one that never needs to fight. The smartest leader is the one who turns enemies into allies. The most powerful warrior is the one who knows that true victory isn't about conquest. It's about control. A sword drawn is a last resort. A deal made in the shadows, a handshake behind closed doors, a single whispered word. These are the true weapons of victory. And Sun Tzu knew it all too well. Sun Tzu compared strategy to water. Water does not fight obstacles, it flows around them. Water does not resist, it adapts. Water never remains the same, it transforms. A great leader is the same. Flexibility, the weapon of the wise, on just one tactic. A great entrepreneur never depends on a single idea. A true champion never sticks to only one strategy. The lesson? Never be predictable. The moment you become rigid, you become vulnerable. Never rely on one tactic. Every battlefield is different, every opponent is unique. If you always fight the same way, you will be defeated. Be flexible. A good leader plans, a great leader adjusts. The best generals, coaches, and CEOs don't just prepare for victory, they prepare for change. Change with the battle. You might be winning now, but the moment the conditions shift, you must shift with them. Stay still, and the tide will wash over you. Sun Tzu wrote, "In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity." The stock market crash. One man panics. He sells everything, fearing disaster. Another sees the opportunity. He invests when others run. Years later, one is ruined. The other is wealthy beyond imagination. The battlefield shifts. A general's army is surrounded. The enemy thinks they have won, but instead of fighting back, he opens a path for retreat. The enemy, believing victory is near, rushes in and falls into a trap. What looked like a loss becomes a masterstroke. The game-changing play. A basketball coach watches as his team struggles. The defense is too strong, the shots aren't landing. Instead of forcing the same strategy, he calls a timeout. A shift in formation, a change in rhythm, and suddenly the game is theirs. The smartest fighter is the one who never fights the same battle twice. The world is unpredictable. The battlefield changes. The rules shift. But those who adapt, who flow like water, will always find a way to win. Final lesson: speed is the essence of war. Sun Tzu understood something that many overlook. Speed wins battles. Speed wins in life. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. Strike first and strike fast. The first punch in a fight often decides the outcome. The first move in business often determines the leader. The first step in battle often dictates who survives. Speed means control. When you move first, you force them to react. When you dictate the pace, you control the game. The longer you wait, the more you risk. Hesitation kills. Delays lead to failure. Opportunities don't wait, they vanish. Imagine phones ring, numbers flash. Two investors see a new opportunity. One acts instantly. The other hesitates. By the time he moves, the moment is gone. Business, war, life, it's all the same. The bold move first. The bold win. Why speed dominates battlefields. An army launching a surprise attack. The enemy, still asleep, scrambles in confusion. By the time they react, it's too late. History has proven it time and time again. Napoleon's rapid assaults crushed slow-moving opponents. Genghis Khan's horsemen struck before enemies could form defenses. Blitzkrieg tactics overwhelmed nations in days, not years. Because when you move so fast that your enemy never has time to react, they don't even realize they've lost until it's already over. In war, in life, in business, hesitation is death. Think of the world's most successful people. Jeff Bezos saw the rise of online retail. He moved first. Elon Musk saw the future in electric cars. He moved first. Steve Jobs saw the power of smartphones. He moved first. The lesson? If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll be waiting forever. The first strike is the most important strike. Every second you wait, someone else is taking action. The investor who hesitates loses millions. The entrepreneur who waits watches competitors steal his idea. The athlete who delays gets left behind. Speed wins. Boldness wins. Action wins. The art of war isn't just about war. It's about winning. Not just on the battlefield, but in the moments that define your destiny. Not just with swords and shields, but with strategy, discipline, and the ability to see 3 steps ahead. It's the entrepreneur outmaneuvering his competition before they even realize the game has changed. It's the athlete reading their opponent, predicting their next move, striking at the perfect moment. It's the leader making decisions that shape the future, not by force, but by foresight. The battlefield is everywhere. This is the art of war in action. It's about controlling the game before it starts. It's about knowing yourself so well that no opponent can shake you. It's about moving with precision, striking with purpose, and mastering the one force that has shaped empires for thousands of years: strategy. Now tell me, how will you use the art of war? Comment below and let's talk strategy. Subscribe for more legendary wisdom.